I've been going jeans cause I'm cool with all the spaceship.
That's just not okay to say to anybody. It's just so wrong and disgusting.
Girl, we're not like endangered animals.
Are we absolutely sure what direction we're going?
Will always choose you.
Lucy Lou, with my girl Drew, Cameron D and Destiny, Charlie's Angels, come on.
Talk to me. It might look like I'm physically here, but in reality for the next 3 days or so, I will be in a completely different world. Thank you.
Let's talk about book series where I think the second book is the best one. And like this commenter says, it feels like that's not a super common thing because it's the opposite of what we usually talk about being second book syndrome or middle book syndrome. But as I looked at my shelf, I found 6 pretty easily. 6 series where I think the second book is the best one. The series that prompted this in the first place was the Drowning Empire trilogy by Andrew Stewart. This is the Bone Shard Daughter, the Bone Shard Emperor, and the Bone Shard War. And of the 3, the Bone Shard Emperor is my favorite. And I feel like that's largely down to characters, the character interactions, the character growth. This was a really, really great book for them and it built so well off this amazing world that we built in Bone Shard Daughter. And I remember vividly my note for Bone Shard Emperor being, it's rare that I love a first book that much, and the second book is even better. So then once the commenter mentioned that like they don't usually see that a lot, the first thing that came to mind when I looked at my shelf for where the second book is the best is the Scholomance trilogy by Naomi Novik. This is A Deadly Education, The Last Graduate, and The Golden Enclaves. And The Last Graduate is by far and away my favorite book in this series. And again, I loved A Deadly Education, so going from something that I enjoyed that much to like even raising the bar higher for The Last Graduate was so fucking good. And one of my favorite things about The Last Graduate in particular in this series is like how often are you reading a book where the setting, the building, like the infrastructure that you're inside is in and of itself its own character. I love The Last Graduate so much. Please, for the love of God, read this series. Now, for one where I'm not going to tell you to read the series, this is also not a trilogy, but the second book is still the best. The From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The first book is the definition of mediocre. The second book is more fun. I had more fun. The third book is crap, and the fourth book is legitimately probably the second worst book I've ever experienced in my entire life. Do not recommend, don't read these, but I do think the second book in this series is the best one. This was not the initial plan, but I just tried to record the rest of this video and it was too long, so we're gonna cut it here and I'll do the other 3 series in a second video.
This right here might be the best book mail of this year. And we're gonna open it together because I love you so much. First, we have a brand new book from Lauren Asher, Love Redesigned. I am so freaking excited to read it, but that's not what we're here for, and we both know it. We have a holiday edition of Fourth Wing. How freaking beautiful is this cover? Beyond obsessed. And we have another copy of Iron Flame, and I say another copy because I already have one. But you know what? There can never be enough. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
It's time to pick the first book of TBR Jar July, where I am picking all of my reads for the next month out of this jar. I'm nervous. And I was worried that they weren't shook up enough, so I put them all in a bag because I was like, the bottom ones are going to stay at the bottom, the top ones are going to stay at the top even if I do this. So I put them in a bag and I shook it up a bunch more, and now I'm still shaking it, and I feel like I'm stalling because I'm nervous. I don't know what it's going to be. And you know what it is that in TBR Jar June last year, my first book was terrible. It was like the worst book I read all month. I hated it. But it's gonna set the tone. It's going to set the tone for the whole month. Okay, let's just grab something. I don't know what I hope it is. I don't know. Okay. Why am I nervous? This is okay. And of course, I bunched these up stupidly, so they take me a minute to get through. The other thing that I didn't mention in my previous video, I promise I'm trying to get this, is that I'm also not buying any new books. We're not adding to the TBR at all while I do this. So our first book is, I am very excited for this. Oh, I gotta text Jenny and see if she wants to read this. Okay, I'm reading, oh, hang on, you can't see that. All right, I don't know if the camera focused on that, but it's Sense and Second Degree Murder by Terza Price, and I know exactly where it is. It is, oh, actually, it's right here. There it is. It was in It was in my book cart where that open space is now. So Sense and Second Degree Murder by Terza Price. This is the second book. This follows Pride and Premeditation. So this is like a Jane Austen murder mystery like rewrite. I'm really excited for this. And this is good timing because the third book just came out. Oh, this is gonna be sweet. What a good first pick. Okay, I gotta go text Jenny and see if she wants to read this because we were gonna read this together. So I gotta go text her. Okay, I'll be back in a couple of days when I finish this.
Good morning! And I say good morning instead of morning because Iron Flame is out, along with Love Redesign by Lauren Asher, but that's no here nor there. Now, do I have 3 orders of Iron Flame already on the way to my house? Yes, I do. Are we still gonna go to Barnes & Noble as soon as they open to get one? Yes, we will. So let's go. I just pulled up to Barnes & Noble and I think I'm the only crazy person around because there's absolutely nobody next to the store. They open in 1 minute. I just saw someone walk in, they're open. Do you see her? Because I see her. Look what's here. Also, she's fucking thick. This is 630 pages and oh my fucking god! I already know this is gonna be over before it even begins, which is traumatizing in itself. It's taking everything in me to not just peek at the last page to just see like what's gonna happen, but like I won't. I promise. I won't. I'll just sit here and admire her for a little bit though.
Let's have a little update on The Way of Kings. I'm trying to find somewhere where like there's not weird lights on my face. I don't know that this is gonna happen though. This might be as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so goals. I clearly have these little tabs. Those are my daily goals. I found that this is a really great way for me to read longer books. I did this first with Priory of the Orange Tree. I did it with A Day of Fallen Night, and now obviously I'm doing it with The Way of Kings. So my initial goal was 10 days. I thought that I could probably get that done. That's 100 pages a day. Sometimes you're not going to hit the goal. Sometimes you're going to read past the goal. So like 10 days, 100 pages a day seemed doable. And then I pushed it a little bit further. I was like, I don't know that I can actually do this, but what if I do 8 instead? If I do 125 pages a day, then I can do 8 days, and I don't know that I can do that, but I'll at least put, you know, the tabs in there and try and do it that way. So now it's day 5. I hit the day 5 goal yesterday. Today I hit the day 6 goal. I am past the day 6 goal. I'm here. I don't have too much left. I have 250-ish pages left, and yes, that does mean I'm apparently about to hit the Sanderson slide, Sanderson avalanche, Sanderlanche, whatever you want to call it that I have been told to expect. If I were not doing anything today, I might actually, like, just drive through the rest of the book today. However, I'm about to go see the Barbie movie and hang out with a friend for a while, so I don't know that I'll get to it today, but tomorrow I can see myself potentially finishing this, which would put me 2 days ahead of schedule. This book flies by. This book truly fucking flew by faster than I could have imagined. It's 1,000 pages. Ridiculous. Anyway, I'll be back when I finish this, which can maybe very well be soon. Back to day 3 or book 3 of TBR Jar July. A couple days ago, I picked out Lucy Score's Things We Never Got Over, and you guys did not fill me with confidence in that comment section. I'm not even gonna, you know what, I'm not even gonna tell you. I'm not even gonna say anything about what I thought about that book. I did finish it last night, but I also recorded a whole video like talking about it, and I won't even call it a review. It's kind of just me giving these unconnected thoughts about the book. It's like 17 minutes of footage. I'm gonna splice out 3 minutes of usable footage, and I'll just post, and it'll be up tomorrow. Come back tomorrow and you'll see that. So now let's pick our next book. This is going to be book number 3. We've had 1 historical fiction murder mystery. We've had 1 romance novel. So let's pick out book number 3, which is going to be any day now. What are we going to read? No fucking... Okay, this will be a quick one. I'll read this today and then have another book that I'll pick tomorrow. It's also on the same shelf as the Lucy Score book was, so let's grab this. Take these down. Where did I put it? It's literally right next to the Lucy Score book. It's the book right next to it. What are the fucking odds? So the book that I pulled is The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. I'm actually excited to read this. I feel like this is going to be a ton of fun. I've been trying to get my Smutty Book podcast to read this for a while, but I don't think it's going to happen, so like I'm just going to read it myself. I'm going to have fun with this. I will read this afternoon, and I will pick another book tomorrow. It's time to pick book number 4 from the TBR jar. I just finished The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. This was So much fun. It was exactly as much fun as I thought it was going to be. 4.25 stars. I really like Katie Robert, even if I'm not as versed in like monster smut. This was really fun. I think if you are interested in trying monster smut, this is a pretty solid start if you want to try it. A really great start to a new series, an interesting world that it sets up, a nice short novella. This was just very fun. This was great. And if you notice I'm wearing the same thing that I was in the last choosing video, it's because it's the same day. It only took a couple hours to read. Now, I don't start a book on the same day that I finished one, so I won't start this until tomorrow, but I was too impatient and I want to know what my next book is. All right, so I picked one from the bottom. Now, a bit of a confession, this is my second attempt at picking book number 4, because I picked a book and then realized that I had put in something that was part of a larger series that I wasn't on. My phone just yelled at me that I have 10% battery left. But anyway, I put in something that was part of a larger series, so I can't read that yet. So now we're trying again. This is attempt number 2. Okay, we are reading... What a pick! Because I was just thinking about this. Okay, hang on. Where is it? Okay, so the interesting thing about the TBR jar is that sometimes I get books that have been on my TBR for a very long time, for years at a time, and sometimes I get books that I bought last month. This is the Frugal Wizard's Handbook to Surviving Medieval England. This is Secret Project number 2 from the Brandon Sanderson Year of Sanderson project. And I was just thinking about this the other day because I got Secret Project number 3, and I specifically picked that up thinking like, ooh, I might actually want to read this one more, being project number 3, and I don't know when I'm going to get to this. So I'm going to get to this right now, apparently. And this is perfect timing because a friend of mine that I'm going to read the Sanderson projects with is about to finish the current book that he's on, which means that we can both start this at the same time. This is great. I'm excited for this. I will be back in a few days when I finish this. Let's recap the first week of my TBR jar July. The timing on this is a little bit odd because I started TBR jar July on July 6th, but anyway, that's why the first week is ending now. So I started with Sense and Second Degree Murder by Tirzah Price. This is obviously a Sense and Sensibility rewrite as a YA murder mystery, and I had a really good time with this. It was interesting reading this as opposed to the first book, which was Pride and Premeditation, because I've read Pride and Prejudice so many times. I've seen the movie, I've seen the BBC version, like I know that story like the back of my hand. Sense and Sensibility, I've only seen the movie and not in a very long time, so there was a little bit more guesswork because I tried to remember kind of what I knew about the characters from the original story, and none of that matters. Anyway, 4 stars. I mean, it's kind of exactly what you would want from a YA murder mystery. The way that they update the characters for like sort of a little bit more of a modern sensibility for modern teenagers, I thought was really well done. This was great. After that, I pulled Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. There is a whole review-ish video. I will just link to that below. 3 stars? Question mark. This was an experience, I guess. It was a book. After that, I pulled what I think is the best book from week 1 of TBR jar July, which was The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. I loved this so much. I love Katie Robert already, but like, this was exactly as fun as I thought it would be. It was a just delightful reading experience. I love the dragon in this so much more than I expected to. 4.25 stars. I thought this was a great start to a new series. I'm probably gonna skip book 2 because it's Kraken and like I'm not a tentacle person, so probably gonna skip book 2, but I will continue reading the rest of these. This was delightful. After that, I pulled The Frugal Wizard's Handbook to Surviving Medieval England, and that is as close as I'm going to get to saying that without stuttering, so we're going to go with that take. This was okay. It was a fun, silly adventure, but it's more shallow and surface level than I've come to expect from Sanderson. I think the things that he really excels at, namely world building and characters, are just really not present to a degree that I have come to expect from the other books of his that I've read. It's fun. It's deceptively short. This was a one-day read, but it looks pretty chunky. It's because the formatting is massive. I will say if you want to get this book, I highly recommend getting this version, the premium hardcover. You can still get it on Dragonsteel even if you didn't back the Kickstarter, because the formatting in this is gorgeous. The illustrations, the way that it does the handbook, and there's a full story told through like drawings in the margins of this book that, you know, go through the whole book. And I was almost more interested in what the next panel of the margins was going to show me than the actual story sometimes. This is a beautifully done book, but yeah, 3.5 stars. I just wanted more from it. And then strangely, I pulled the only other Katie Robert book on my TBR, Learn My Lesson. This is exactly what I wanted from the Wicked Villains series. I really didn't like the first book. It had a lot of consensual issues that I wasn't a fan of. This did not have those problems. I liked it.
Holy fucking shit.
The fact that I'm even reading Iron Flame right now still feels a little bit surreal. Also, yes, I take off the jackets of the book before reading them, and if you don't, you're fucking sick. Thank you. Anyway, we're 200 pages in. Now, I am trying to read this as fast as I can, but at the same time, I'm trying to savor it. I'm confused about what I'm doing. But I got like 1/3 through the book in one day, and let me fucking tell you! I'm not gonna spoil anything for you because obviously I'm not fucking cruel. But I will tell you this, Daddy Zayden is still a slay. Even though we don't see much of him because he obviously graduated. But you already knew that from 4th Wing. Tarot is still his old fucking self. This fucking dragon has me literally giggling like no tomorrow. The shit that come out of his mouth, I am so here for it. Oh, and fucking Dane is still keeping in his lane for now. For fucking now being the key word. I could fucking smell the bullshit coming off him already. Also, it doesn't look like I annotated much, but this is my most annotated book to date. Like, there's so much annotation happening in here. It's honestly not even funny. I'm just gonna leave you with one quote, and if you started the book, you already read it. Love doesn't even have the decency to die. It just transforms into an abject misery. That's what this ache in my chest is. Misery. Because love at its root is hope. Hope for tomorrow. Hope for what could be. Hope that the someone you've entrusted your everything to will cradle and protect it. And hope that shit is harder to kill than a dragon. And that's on fucking period.
Alright, let's pick book number 7 from TBR July. Yesterday I finished A Week to Be Wicked by Tessa Dare, the 4th romance book that this jar has given me. 4 out of 6 picks have been romance books. Don't get me started. It was good. It was kind of like what I've expected from Tessa Dare. If I had to rank my Tessa Dare books, I feel like it would be in like the upper middle area. I really didn't like the first book, but I did like this one, and I realized that everything that I just told you doesn't tell you anything about the book. But whatever, we're just gonna pick the next one. So, I did do the math, or I did do like the little chart in my spreadsheet to find out how likely it is that I'm pulling so many romance books. Found out that 11% of the books in this jar are romance, 56% are fantasy books, and I have not pulled a single fantasy book. You know I like stats. I can't open this. What is wrong with this? Okay, we are gonna read. What are we reading? I fucking knew it! I fucking knew it! Okay. I specifically did not say this on camera. I didn't even say it out loud. I only thought it. I have been thinking that it's really difficult for me to stay on top of these TBR July books because I'm getting so many short books. I'm getting books that I'm reading in a day. So in order to stay on top of like real-time posting videos, I'm posting these videos every single day or every other day, and it's like getting hard to keep up with them. I've been thinking like, oh, I kind of hope I pull a longer book soon. It would just give me a break, you know? I had this specific thought. I said, I'm not going to say that out loud. I'm not even going to put that in the universe because I fucking know that if I say that, I'm going to pull The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. And what the fuck do you know? I just pulled it. Yeah. Okay. So my next book is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This might take me a really fucking long time. This might derail the rest of TBR July. Okay. I'm rethinking all of my life choices right now. This is, we're in the appendices. Okay. This is 1,001 pages, and please look at how the formatting is. Look at that. That's tiny. That's itty bitty. I'll be back in a while. We're gonna take a break from TBR July videos because it's gonna take me a little while to get through this one. I'll be back.